Pretty much everything you need to know about taming using a Carcharodontosaurus. Okay. Pretty much everything you need to know about taming using a Carcharodontosaurus in ARK Survival Evolved. For the record, I'm just going to refer to them as Carcharos for the rest of the video. Carcharos can be located on the Island, the Center, Ragnarok, Extinction, Genesis Part 2, Valguera, Crystal Isles, the Lost Island, and Fjordur maps. Carcharos essentially share the same spawn points as Giganotosaurus, so they can be found in all of the typical places you would find them. The tops of mountains, in the middle of horse fields, and other inconspicuous places. Carchi in a treehouse! Okay, so maybe not in a treehouse, but you get the idea. If you're still having trouble locating them, just listen for the harrowing screams of woodland creatures and the sound of blood splatter painting the landscape to bag yourself a caricature! Oh god damn it! Why is this name so difficult to say? Well, hopefully the taming process won't be overly complicated or cumbersome. So, how do you go about taming one of these Giga 2.0s, you might ask? Well, oddly enough, the Carcharo is a passive tame that kind of mashes together the mechanics of a lot of different creatures. The taming process of Carcharos can be broken up into two separate phases, and I think it's really important to discuss them before diving into the best way to tame one. Beginning with Phase 1, the Carcharo must be passively fed the corpses of creatures by dragging them up to it, waiting for its sniffing prompt before it eats, and then running like hell! Fair warning, if you don't run away fast enough,
gonna have a bad time.
Feeding it creatures like this will build trust between you and the giant hell demon you're trying to tame, as indicated by the trust meter displayed on your UI. The level of the creature doesn't seem to matter, as you can see by this side-by-side comparison, but the drag weight of the creature does. Basically, the larger the creature is, the more trust it will build, because small creatures give very little boost to this trust meter. Just keep in mind that you have to be able to drag the creature for it to count towards building trust, so killing something like a rhino won't work because you can't drag them.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Once the trust bar is completely full, you can initiate Phase 2 of the taming process. Now that the Carcharo trusts you, you can walk up to it and press E to mount it. You can control the Carcharo like you would any tamed mount for the next 10 minutes, with the overall goal being to kill and eat creatures. The levels of the creatures that you're killing technically doesn't matter, but the amount of health they have does. The higher the health of the creature, the more taming progress you'll gain. With that being said, don't be afraid to eat anything and everything because you don't lose taming effectiveness for eating creatures, only from taking damage. Because of this though, I would avoid attacking things like Brontos because there's no good way to avoid their tail swipe, which means you're always going to lose effectiveness. Also avoid attacking Kentrosauruses because their retaliatory damage will absolutely fuck up your tame. Killing Diplodocus is honestly the best bang for your buck because they have really high amounts of health and quite literally can't deal damage to you, so it's a win either way. After a certain amount of taming progress has been achieved, the Carcharo will automatically enrage and dismount you from its back. Don't freak out, this is perfectly normal, but it does mean that you once again have to run like hell! Getting dismounted like this essentially resets things back to Phase 1, meaning that you'll have to once again kill creatures and drag them to the Carcharo as a sacrificial offering until you regain its trust. Once trust has been fully re-established, you can remount the Carcharo and repeat Phase 2. Simply repeat these two phases back and forth to complete the taming process. Now, given that ARK is ARK, and by that I mean absolutely unforgivingly brutal, there is an easier way to go about taming these things. Building a trap and sacrificing personal tames makes this whole process much easier and avoids the possibility of something going wrong. Please keep in mind that the method I'm about to show you does not work on PvE servers because you can't unclaim your dinos to use as food, but trapping the thing is still not a bad idea to help with some of the legwork. Now, full disclosure up front, I can't take any credit for this trap design, as Nooblets.com already perfected it and I had no reason to change anything. Nooblets was kind enough to allow me to shout out his trap in this video, so if you're watching this right now, be sure to check out his video and show him some love for offering this to the community. I put a link to his video in the description down below. Out of respect for him, I've chosen to omit how to actually build the trap, but rather I just use it in the video as an example of how a trap-based Carcharo tame would go. From the testing that I've done and feedback from the community, it would seem that large creatures such as Diplodocus, Paraceratherium, and Rex with all of their points invested into health seem to be the best quote-unquote kibble to sacrifice to the Carcharo. It's best practice to invest all of their points into health, then cryopod them up before they can heal, and you'll see why in just a minute. Once the trap has been built and you've got all your tames to sacrifice, shoot the Carcharo in the face to piss it off and lure it inside. Once it steps on the large dino trap, it'll be immobilized for a few seconds, which buys you just enough time to close the dino gate behind it. Now you can place your final 3 metal gateways on the backside of the trap to seal it off. From this point forwards, you can begin the taming process as normal. You can either kill personal tames and drag them to the Carcharo as a sacrifice, or kill wild ones like before. Honestly, I would just recommend wild ones because Phase 1 is pretty easy and there's no need to lose more personal tames. Phase 2 is a bit different this time though, because now you have tames to work with. You can uncryopod your tamed creatures on the opposite side of the trap, unclaim them, and kill them with the Carcharo for taming progress. Now please keep in mind, I was using some ridiculously high level Diplos just for the sake of demonstration, so you're more than likely not going to achieve this kind of taming progress this quickly. Once you've been dismounted, close the gate to trap the Carcharo on one side of the trap again. It's worth mentioning that a Sanguine Elixir is invaluable when taming a Carcharo, and is highly recommended to make the process much faster and easier. You'll want to use it during Phase 2, either before or after you've mounted the Carcharo. It seems to be best practice to wait until at least the second Phase 2, and when taming progress is above 70%, as the Elixir will provide 30% and you can potentially avoid going through more phases or killing more personal tames than necessary. Once tamed, the Carcharo will eat raw meat as a food source from here on out. The Carcharo saddle can be crafted at level 96 using the following resources. Alright, so let's dive into the controls and functionality of the Carcharo to showcase some of what it can do. The Carcharo features a basic bite attack with the left mouse button, a tail swipe ability with the right mouse button, the ability to sprint with the shift key, and an incited roar ability with the C key. The Carcharo's basic bite attack can dish out consistent damage very quickly and applies a shredding debuff to the target, reducing the effects of their healing. Its tail swipe ability can be used to damage and crowd control whole groups of enemies at once, and is powerful enough to even knock back a Giga. When the Carcharo kills a creature for the first time, it gains a stack of Blood Rage that boosts its HP regeneration and melee damage for 45 seconds. This Blood Rage can stack up to 100, meaning that not only can you keep this running for extended periods of time, but your HP regen and damage will consistently increase with the more stacks that you accumulate. So you're probably wondering, what does one stack of Blood Rage look like compared to 100 stacks? Well, take a look for yourself. The damage output is significantly different, and the HP regen is, in my opinion, absolutely broken. We've never seen HP regen like this with any other creature in the game, and quite honestly, the first time I saw this, I thought it was a glitch. But it's not. It's real. It's a thing. And it's fucking stupid. Now it's worth mentioning that if you don't kill something within a certain time frame, these stacks of Blood Rage will start to deteriorate at a much faster rate, at about 2 seconds per stack, but killing something resets this timer to 45 seconds per stack again. Performing the Incited Roar ability will consume all of your Blood Rage stacks and provide a speed boost to all friendly creatures that it affects, with the duration increasing depending upon how many stacks were consumed, up to 55 seconds maximum. In addition to all of this, the Carcharo will gain a Killing Frenzy buff for 10 seconds that refreshes with each fresh kill, boosting your movement speed and providing immunity to stun effects. As a quick side note, killing fish does not provide stacks of Blood Rage or Killing Frenzy. I know, because I tried. So, with all these controls and functionality in mind, what is the Carcharo's main use? Aside from further removing any chance of surviving a Giga spawn while on foot. Good god, these things are like crack Gigas. Well, the Carcharo features a fairly high base health, high base melee damage, fast movement speed, and unique stacking combat effects that place it in the top tier of carnivore creatures in the game. Whether you're looking for the ultimate PvE dino for gathering organic resources, or looking for a dino that can absolutely shred in PvP, the Carcharo should be high on your list of creatures to acquire. Please note that just like Gigas, Carcharos cannot be taken inside of the boss fight arena. I know, because I tried. And let's just say that Fenris Oliver was not happy. If a PvE mount is what you're looking for, you want to invest mainly into health, stamina, and melee damage, with optional point investment into weight. If you don't plan on riding the Carcharo, then just focus on health and melee damage. Fair warning in advance, the Carcharo does not get much health per point invested, which I think was a way of the devs balancing out their crazy HP regen. The Carcharo's damage output, gathering affinities, speed boosts, and HP regeneration rates makes it the ultimate killing machine in PvE scenarios. Even though their damage might be lower than their carnivore cousins, it's very quickly made up for with their stacking combat mechanics. If a PvP mount is what you're looking for, you want to invest mainly into health, stamina, and melee damage. The Carcharo is an incredible creature to have on the battlefield and can make quick work of enemy tames. Once you build up enough stacks of Blood Rage and start entering into killing frenzies, the Carcharo can absolutely flatten enemy defenses or offensive lines. Their HP regeneration is unmatched by any other creature in the game, providing incredible survivability for sustained fights. Its shredding debuff can be used to slow the enemy's healing regeneration rates, which makes for great counters to Argentavis, Snow Owls, Daeodons, Blood Wyverns, and even other Carcharos. Alright, well that about wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching! If you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave this video a like down below, subscribe to the channel with notifications on to stay up to date on all of my latest content, join the Discord for a community of like-minded woodland creatures, and please keep leaving me comments because they warm my little bunna heart. A special thank you goes out to all of the bunnas who support me on Patreon. You guys are amazing. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.